So on this week's episode, we're going to talk about exactly what has transpired from last St. Patrick's Day to this St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the episode.
Did you catch that? My price still going up like NASDAQ. We send shots, make them duck like Affleck. All this fake news, can we bring the facts back? Never backtrack, still on the up and up. And nobody catching up to us. Every time we double down, then we double up. So if we keep winning, can you really call it luck?
So exactly 1 year ago, Brittany and I filmed the last in-person vlog episode in 2020. It was March, the week of St. Patrick's Day. Brittany and I were in Manhattan, and we were actually walking around very, very confused about what was transpiring. It was the unknown, and none of us knew what to expect with what lied ahead with regard to COVID, right? We just started to hear about it. We started to see the impact, people getting sick, businesses closing left and right, and it was just a strange time. I remember vividly walking the streets in Manhattan, and anytime that somebody came near us, I would freak out and have to get away from them because I had no clue what to expect. That fear created chaos in all industries, as well as the fact that people had to shut down their businesses. So much has changed from last year's episode, but I want to flash back to the meat and potatoes of last year's episode, because as things start to open up again, as people start to get vaccinated and move about, it's easy to kind of forget where we were exactly a year ago. So check this out. It's quieter now, I feel like. What's up, guys? So on today's episode, we're going to talk a lot about coronavirus. We're going to talk about how it's impacting business across the world, impacting lives, and we're going to walk around parts of New York City that would typically be bustling, like Fifth Avenue, in the heart of the day, and it's extremely slow. So we have, everything's basically closing at this point. Entertainment venues, sporting events, concerts, Broadway, you name it, it's pretty much closed. Retailers are following suit. Restaurants, it's St. Patty's Day. I don't see any green. We're gonna pass a bunch of bars, we're gonna pass a bunch of restaurants, and unfortunately, basically everything's closed. So it's St. Patty's Day in New York City. You'd expecting there to be a ton of people drinking at a place like Connolly's, and there's plenty of these businesses, and they do the majority of their business by far on St. Patty's Day. They've ordered up extra food, extra kegs, getting ready for the rush, and it's just not happening, as you can see. De Blasio shut down restaurants, gyms, other public areas. The restaurant owners in New York City were forced to close. There's only takeout, there's delivery, stuff like that, but being very careful about people congregating in restaurants, and it's really going to hurt these small businesses. All right, guys, so we're on Fifth Avenue now, and you can see it is, I guess, the sleepiest I've ever seen in my lifetime. We're obviously standing in front of the Nike store. Nike was one of the first major retailers to shut all of their stores. Apple followed suit. A lot of other retailers decided to shrink their store hours and whatnot, but you can see here every store around me. Zara's closed, Ferragamo's closed, St. Patrick's Cathedral is right behind us in the distance there. There's no congregation, no mass. Everything's basically being done virtual and remotely at this point. We're going to take a drive into Times Square, see how that looks. And we just feel compelled, being in the retail business. A lot of you guys who watch my vlog are not in New York, and I'm sure you're hearing about what's going on, and the media is obviously doing what it typically does and telling you what they want you to hear, but we felt like we needed to do a video this week talking about the effect of the coronavirus on retail, because that affects us, that affects our livelihood. All right, so the footage that we're showing from last year was actually on St. Patty's Day, okay? The streets were dead, the restaurants were closed, and we were feeling very sorry for the restaurant owners who gear up for one of the biggest days of their year, right? Especially the Irish pubs. And we're standing in front of BK Sweeney's in Garden City, New York. And the good news is, not everything's closed. you could see that there are people coming for St. Patty's Day. You could see the people showing love in the streets of Garden City because we are out here. And the good news is these businesses are back open and operating at a limited capacity, but it's getting a lot better. So we are encouraged, and it's a beautiful time to be alive. Guys, what's changed in the last year? I have white hair. It's snowing. I only had a sweatshirt on in the last year's episode. So the weather's changing, the climate's changing, and the business sentiment is changing in a positive way. So we're super excited about what lays ahead. And as summer comes, we're convinced that things are just gonna start to get better and better and more normal in general. Now, here's what hasn't changed. There's still a major impact on businesses and consumer behavior, right? I spend most of my time understanding human behavior, consumer behavior, and how the overall retail industry is changing. And it's changed forever. I've always thought that this was something that was going to have a major impact long-term on the industry, and it is, because people have been forced to use the internet to buy their goods and services, and that's not going to change. It's important today to use an omni-channel platform in order to sell your goods and services, and digital marketing is not a want any longer. It's an absolute need in your business. So guys, we keep preaching about how this digital era is here and how you need to adopt these tools and technologies in your businesses to thrive today and tomorrow. So let's pay attention to the changes, embrace them, and take our businesses to the next level.
Fake news, can we bring the facts back? Never backtrack, still on the up and up. And nobody catching up to us. Every time we double down and we double up.